That food's not for sale.
You ever done hard time, Nick? You've been somebody's...
There are two pieces of information that I cannot stop thinking about, and now you guys have to think about it too. So yesterday at the press conference, the lawyer who's taking on these 120 new alleged victims of P. Diddy.
Ja Rule is a diva.
I got you, dog.
You can't with X. Never. Ever. In a homo. You know he be too, right?
No.
Yeah, man, some styling his clothes and shit.
Yeah, because a couple of weeks ago, at 50 years old, he just got jumped by a whole group of grown men. He got to get his shit together. It's the zestiest era in history. That's why I stay away from man.
Not Zestapocalypse. Big homie CC is not holding back anymore, and now he's out here dragging every single rapper he caught doing something weird at a Diddy party. And today, it's Ja Rule's turn. So Ja is still out here crashing out over 50 Cent's Diddy documentary, and now he's talking about dragging 50 to court because he feels like 50 was hinting that Ja was involved in some, let's just say, very questionable Diddy activities. However, former celeb bodyguard Big homie CC is now warning Ja he better fall back and stop poking the bear because 50 has enough dirt to turn Ja Rule's whole life into a documentary series with bonus episodes.
That was a sweetheart.
Okay.
You like Ja Rule too, right?
No.
Yeah, you do.
No.
You be dancing to that.
I'm not dancing to that.
You be liking that.
Now, the internet did what the internet does best and started digging. And now folks are revisiting Ja's closeness with Diddy and resurfacing old things DMX said about Ja years ago. And if DMX was even halfway telling the truth, it would explain why Ja is reacting like this documentary personally called his name. And the more Ja talks, the more he's convincing folks that 50 might be sitting on something real messy about him.
That I just feel like all of this is just showing the divisiveness and the closet homosexuality in the black community. Hip hop, period.
Alright, so former celeb bodyguard Big homie CC just sat down for another chaotic interview on Cam Capone News. And if you know anything about this man, you already know he does not do polite, PR-friendly answers. So at one point, the conversation shifted to the Ja Rule versus 50 Cent drama. And when they brought up how Ja is now threatening to do a documentary on 50, Big homie CC basically laughed it off and said Ja has way bigger problems to be focused on, especially after that recent situation where he got handled backstage at a Brandy and Monica concert.
Jumps in the middle of everything, and Ja Rule is threatening to do his own documentary on 50 Cent.
This shit together, because a couple of weeks ago, at 50 years old, he just got jumped by a whole group of grown men. He got to get his shit together.
But Big homie CC wasn't done either. He went on to remind Ja that history is not his friend in this situation because every single time Ja has tried to step to 50 Cent in the past, it has blown up in his face. And let's be real, knowing how 50 moves, he's absolutely the type to be sitting on some wild footage of Ja and just waiting for the right moment to drop it.
He didn't win anytime he went against 50. It's gonna get ugly. You feel me? It's gonna get ugly. They just put hands and feet on him at Max B's show recently. You saw that? On being a father and putting out whatever music he gonna put out because, bro, it ain't never went well for Ja Rule in any of these public spats. I think he need to mind his business right now because 50 is in the driver's seat on the film and content space right now. I don't think that's a problem Ja Rule won't at all.
Now this is where it really got nasty. When the interviewer brought up Ja saying he wants to sue 50 for sharing that Gene Deal video and for insinuating that he and Diddy were involved in a freak-off and ran out of a hotel room in just towels, Big homie CC straight up laughed. And then he made it even worse by saying he's personally seeing Diddy getting down with vampires while they were wearing nothing but towels.
Sue 50. No.
Now about the whole vampire thing, here's the tea. Big homie explained this in an older interview, saying that back in 2013, he was working an event Diddy threw in Chicago and later got invited by a client to the after party. And according to him, when he saw Diddy hanging out with men who looked like vampires, he immediately knew it was time to bounce.
Like 2013 was when I really first started speaking out about this because he was booked to host an event in Chicago at a nightclub called The Vibe on 1534 North Kingsbury. I was head of security at his venue. And whenever celebrities would come through, the owner and the general manager, shout out PJ Khan and shout out Joey Vartanian, they would send me with celebrities after the club. So I ended up at one of his events, and a gentleman I used to work for, his name was David Arrington. He used to not work for, work with. He was security like me, big, strong, intimidating dude. Come to find out, you know, he was double dipping. You feel me? He was getting hired as a sex worker, and when I got to the event, he was there. And
as a bodyguard, or
no, he was there as a performer. Right. So that gentleman's incarcerated right now. He ended up killing his boyfriend. Stealing his car, all type of stuff. So he crashed out. So that's how I ended up even knowing about this type of stuff. So, and when I got to the party, you know, all the waitresses was topless. They had like...
You're the second person to say that.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, everybody, the waitresses was topless. Like they had like dancers in cages, naked. I seen a few people had like lions on leashes and stuff like that. You feel me? And then, you know, once they came out to collect everybody's phones, that's when I said, I'm going to the car, y'all got it. Because I seen the Diddy guy holding hands with two vampire-looking dudes, like they was off Twilight. You feel me? So if you ever at a celebrity party, you see street dudes kicking it, the females, when you see the vampires come in, somebody case getting touched, better be on point.
Now, as for Ja riding for Diddy when the charges first dropped, Big Homie CC said all these men out here shouting free Diddy are straight up weird. Either they didn't bother reading all the lawsuits, or they're moving just like Diddy behind the scenes.
That I just feel like all of this is just showing the divisiveness and the closet homosexuality in the black community. Hip hop, period. Cause like, saying free a man who was rubbing man milk on his body is insane.
All right, now let's get into this closet tea Big Homie mentioned. Apparently, the rumors about Ja being DL aren't new, and they didn't start with 50 Cent or Diddy. Way back in the early 2000s, it was actually DMX who publicly called Ja out, claiming he bats for the other team. Here's how that went down. DMX was beefing with Ja at the time, and on a radio show, he blasted him for being fake. According to X, Ja was hiding behind his label boss, Irv Gotti, instead of facing him directly. But it didn't stop there. DMX then went even further and straight up claimed he knew for a fact that Ja had hooked up with his male stylist.
Is there certain subjects you gonna touch on this, or just like you just going at him?
I am being a homo. You know he be too, right?
No.
Yeah, man, some styling his clothes and shit. I got the inside information, man. Some nigga styling his clothes for one of them shows, got him ecstasy on one night and him.
No, dog.
Yeah, Ja Rule, I'm telling you, dog. Oh my mama. Told me that himself. He said, yeah, I was with Ja, you know what I'm saying? And you know, he was all ecstasy up, so he...
What?
Whoa!
What?
It is crazy. Yeah, man. They said they walk around with a bag of them pills, man. Talk about me, you can't be serious. That X is everything. Get it? The X is everything. All right.
Yo, this is a big statement you making here, man. You throw it...
Yeah, man, Ja Rule's straight up. He's
This is...
for all them homos out there that wants to give your man Ja Rule some X, and he'll fuck you.
Now, if you know DMX, you know he wasn't just talking for clout. He knew what he knew, and he wasn't afraid to spill it. And get this, around the same time, X hopped on another radio show and went off about rappers who get down on their knees for label executives. And rumor has it, one of the rappers he had in mind was Ja.
Issues with the industry. What's going down with the industry, dog?
The industry is full of a bunch of sucking, riding, bending over the desk straight up like that. Whoever don't like it, bring it. Bring it. I don't give a Bring it. Bring it. They got this new breed of rapper that's paying DJs to play their shit.
Right.
And, you know what I'm saying? They sucking the record label executives, and it's like there's too much of that going on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Let me be me. Let me be the artist that I am and just play my music. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Now they want you all up under this, you know, sitting at the going to dinner with them. like that, and you know, all that favor for a favor. I don't get down like that. Look, I'll give you the music, you give my money.
And what's also interesting is that this interview dropped right around the same time Ja started partying heavy with Diddy, so the timing was pretty suspicious. And then things got even messier. Shortly after, the whole rumored hotel room freak-off story came up when Gene Deal claimed that Ja and Diddy were getting busy in a hotel. On the same day, Diddy supposedly went shopping for adult toys in Atlanta. According to Gene, later that very same day, Diddy flew to North Carolina to test out the toys at a hotel party, with Ja Rule in the mix.
I said, yo, what are you getting this for? And it said butt plugs, and he was like, yo, can I do my shopping by myself? I said, yeah, you could do it by yourself, brother. Ja Rule runs out the room. Puff got his towel, Ja grabbing his towel, but they butt the naked. And so then Ja was like, yo, what's going on? Yo, Gene, that's my cousin. He know me well. You know, and Puff was like, yo, Gene, what happened? I said, he tried to get in the room. I told him he couldn't get in the room. And he was like, he just looked, Puff looked at Ja. He said, yo, Ja said, you ain't want to go in that room because there's a lot of freaking going on.
Now, if this were just a one-off rumor, maybe we could shrug it off. But stories like this about Ja kept coming up over the years. For example, Jaguar Wright called out Ja for cheating on his wife with his cellmate while serving his 2-year prison sentence. And according to Jag, Ja was already connected to Diddy before he went in, and supposedly, he kept that same energy with his cellie behind bars.
Ooh, you know?
Uh-oh.
Like, I've been so polite with that little nigga right there, but with all disrespect, you a punk. How the f you gonna go to jail and then turn on your wife or your cellie? Like, what kind of does that?
Wife?
He dumped his wife. Yeah, he refused visits, told her not to come. He was right next to Canada. It was a waste of time and money. And then she found the letters of your boo loving up on your cupcake and cellmate, your little fruit. You know, open your mouth. Tell the truth. You know, Gene was talking about you when he had to throw your cousin up there in the piano. He did everything but say your name. Why don't you say it? Why don't you say it? You like dancing with the devil in the pale moonlight? The Diddy doo-wop? Looking at you, Illuminati pick me bitch. Tell the truth and shame the devil.
Sheesh. All right. So along with this whole
Go turn on your wife so you can play hide the soap. You fucking These niggas ain't got no respect for women. They ain't got no respect for women. Woo, they give birth to your children. They put up with all of your shit. They got to listen to everybody gossiping about which when the truth is you're and you probably suck better than your girl.
And Jaguar wasn't just making this up out of nowhere. She was going off info that supposedly came straight from Ja's wife, Aisha Atkins. Back in 2013, Clash magazine reported that Aisha was set to appear in the MTV documentary Married Life After Prison, and they said she reportedly made this comment in the doc. He wrote all them love songs and still don't know how to treat a B. We spent 10 plus years building our marriage, but it only took him 2 to decide he'd rather suck a D than be with his wife. And while that segment didn't make the final cut, multiple outlets reported at the time that Aisha spoke on camera about Ja's affairs with men. One article quoted her saying that after Ja got out of prison, he, annoyed, told her that he was sleeping with his personal trainer. And not until later did she find out that not only was he a man, but his prison cellmate. And get this, the same article also hinted that Aisha believed Ja had a crush on 50 Cent. It says, Aisha admits that she hopes this is just a phase, but is now convinced that the whole 50 Cent thing thing was not just a silly rap feud, but more than likely a crush. And then, when this whole Diddy mess exploded in the headlines 2 years ago, Ja didn't exactly help himself by going out there and publicly defending Diddy. About 2 weeks before Homeland Security raided Diddy's properties and found thousands of tapes, Ja appeared on Piers Morgan and showed his support, even saying he wished Diddy the best. Now watch how Ja got nervous when Piers made that little joke about Diddy crashing at his place. He tried to laugh it off, but you could tell it was not a comfortable moment.
What's up, Fausto? I'm doing an interview, baby. I'm live on TV. I'll check y'all later. I'll come golf with y'all later. Yeah.
Who's that, Diddy?
But who?
Was that Diddy or Fiddy?
Who? Fausto. That's my guy, Fausto. You got jokes, Piers. I see you got jokes.
So at this point, it's not even really about Ja's sexuality. The bigger issue is that he was out here defending a man accused of all kinds of criminal behavior, allegedly involving victims as young as 9.
66 of these people reported the incidents to police or hospitals. The hospitals found that there were weird substances in many of these people's system, including the horse tranquilizers. Now, people in my comments were saying, how would a 9-year-old boy know what horse tranks are? That's going to be really hard to prove. But it's not like these are people who are coming out and saying, he gave me these substances. These are people who went to the hospital and this was found in their system.
And this is exactly why Big Homie CC was telling Ja to mind his business and stop poking the bear with 50 Cent. Because if 50 decides to dig into all this shady stuff about Ja, it could get ugly real fast. But let me hear your thoughts on all this. Is Big Homie CC right about Ja? Why do you think Ja got so defensive over 50 Cent's Diddy documentary when he wasn't even mentioned? And does this prove DMX was telling the truth all along? Drop your thoughts in the comments and I'll catch you in the next video.